I'm continuing with my Haskell app, and I was in the process of migrating the kind of chaotic integration test into something that's a more of a proper test file. So why don't I call this Postgres? How do I capitalize just one word? Do I have a camel case? One letter, I mean. All right, well, we'll do that. And so I'll just do this. These are all Postgres tests. And I'm not sure why I put these in test groups. That's not going to work. These should all be test cases. And are these the only ones? I think so. So let's see if this will work. Huh. I don't know why Emacs doesn't want me to do certain things on all cursors. Okay. So that should be the basic of what this test case is. Okay, so these should not all be called some test. I guess I can call write job proto to DB. This one will be called write article data. In fact, I don't need to write to DB because that should be something I can infer from the name of the test suite. Hey, WGAFA. I'm working on just a little Haskell app. I'm learning Haskell, and this is my intro kind of demo app. And it's going to be just like a bookmarking app. Okay, and then get articles. Do I want them in this order? Probably not. Although I guess I should write the job stuff first before I get it. Or rather, write the article stuff. And I really should be starting with a completely new database and creating it and tearing it down. And I'm just not doing that yet. But I will at some point. I guess this needs to have also a human readable name. They did capital. So I'll do that. And then here, this list gets replaced by this list essentially, except with commas. And then there's some significant white space in Haskell that I don't really understand, but I just hope my editor knows how to format. This is no longer used. And connection strings defined up here. I guess I can probably use that. And what else? This might be ready to go, except I have to import whatever this module is going to be called now. It's no longer just going to be called tests. Hey, Ordinary Tranquil. The proto stuff I don't, but have you seen the other stuff I've done? Oh, you see, maybe you see protos down here. Yeah, I'm using, I spent some time not using the standard Haskell stuff. I'm using Bazel for the build system and protocol buffers, and I'm going to be using gRPC for handling requests and stuff. So that's all probably unusual for the Haskell ecosystem. All right. Okay, so let me see if I can. Oh, first of all, I need a module name, which when I tried this before, it objected. I think maybe just because maybe it was like a conflict between the build file and the actual thingy. So let's see if I can fix that. So the thing that's called SQL integration test will now be not have a main function because it will be soon a library, a test only library. Let's see if that works. And what was the issue before? I don't really remember. It had something to do with modules and the way that they were named. I guess let's try to see if this works. Oh yeah, sorry, I just disappeared there for a second there because I had to respond to someone. Yeah, I don't love, of all the choices Haskell made, I don't love that there's significant white space. I kind of see why they did it because I guess they wanted to avoid having braces group things. But I think that they try to make it look more like math. But I find significant white spaces a little bit difficult to deal with because it makes like tooling harder, among other things. And like you mentioned here, WGAFA, the error messages are often deeply confusing until you know what you're doing. Oh, the stream timer may have restarted. I may have fallen off. First of all, we shouldn't need parse options because we're not going to have command line arguments. We don't really need any of this stuff, although I want to, now that I think about it, I do have to figure out how I can pass command line arguments to this tasty HUnit thingy. I know I tried to look this up before, but let's see if I can find anything. What? Are they trying not to load the page? Here we go. There's no answer to this question. All right. Let's try ChatGPT. So in Tasty, the Haskell framework, can I add command line arguments to my test? I mean, I probably can. I can define a custom ingredient. Is that what I want to do, though? That's super awkward. Ask for the options. An ingredient can choose typically based on the option set whether to run. That's what the maybe is for. Ingredients make your test sweet tasty. All right. Is one that runs tests and reports progress and results. Another standard ingredient is one that simply prints the names of all tests. Every ingredient must specify which options it cares about. We have option parser. Generate a command line parser from a list of option descriptions. So maybe this is supported. So Tasty, what was it called? Option parser. Isn't that what it was called? So there's this file for generating command line. I just don't really feel like using what looks like a slightly more advanced subsection of this testing framework. Mainly because I'm just trying to keep things simple. And if like the first thing I need to do is like start looking in the backwoods of a library, that makes me a little bit nervous and I don't want to do that. Let's try test Tasty Haskell option set Reddit, just to see if anything is on Reddit. And DuckDuckGo will just ignore my search terms. And so will Google. Okay, so this is not something that seems to be commonly used or commonly discussed. So what are my other options? Well, instead of passing in, well, I'm not even sure why I need the option. I think it's just that I was going to pass in the connection string. So I guess let's just hard code the connection string, and I can still look up this environment variable, and maybe that's going to cause problems if I need to have essentially a guard around whether tests run at all. So I'll ask this of ChatGPT in the Haskell Tasty test framework. Write a basic test example that looks in an environment variable called all is clear and only runs tests if all is clear is set to true. Otherwise, don't run tests, but report that the test suite succeeded. All right. I was munching on an apple there. Okay, so it sounds like I do get to implement main however I want to. So that should be fine. I can just do that here, as I did over here. So I'm going to do this lookup test, and then this stuff here. Come on, format, you fool. So something like that should work, right? Is that basically what you told me? More or less. And we'll need to import exit success, right? And we'll need to add it to the build file. Do I? Maybe I don't. Sorry, let me see if I can improve my mic here. So maybe maybe that stuff doesn't need to be listed as an explicit dependency. Okay, so that seemed to compile. Oh, I told it that I didn't want to parse options, and then I didn't take this away. Okay, so that compiles. That's good. I don't need this option stuff here. I'm not sure I need a job status. Do I use the job status here? I do. No, I don't. Okay, fine. What else can I get rid of? I don't think I need this update job status. Yeah, OBS keeps disconnecting. I'm not sure what it's unhappy about. Maybe my stream rate is too high for it. I think maybe it doesn't support as high a bit rate as YouTube, and it's something's going on. I don't know where to find stream health here. Oh, here maybe? Oh yeah, here we go. Unstable. I think I have to log into a separate thing. I'm not sure if this is going to work. All right, well, next time I stream, I guess I'll try changing the bitrate for Twitch. What's the max bitrate? A maximum of 6,000. All right, well, I'm trying to push more than that, and so I think that's making Twitch unhappy. All right, so I'll fix that after, maybe if I get kicked off again. Or maybe I'll just try to fix it now. Why don't I take a break? I'll be right back. Who is Poro? So does Twitch think I'm back on? I think it does now. Okay. So hopefully that works. I don't know who Poro is, but Poro is cute. Okay. Is that a Twitch thing? And also, how do I unclick it? Okay. So now, now let's proceed. Hopefully I'm actually changing the database. Oh, you know what? I haven't compiled this. I haven't run these tests. And these will fail because I am not sending the correct authentication. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. All right, so I have to add a dependency. Also, what kind of name is test? Yeah, no, it was not legal. I still don't have a great sense of the Haskell syntax, as you can probably tell. So I think that I think I can try to set it a Postgres password here. what is it? PG password. And then I don't know, I guess I have to, well, the user has to go somewhere, and so does the database. I think the database is already in the string. I can try adding the user to the string here without the password. So I have to import lookup env. And while it's doing that, I can grab some stuff from this other integration test. And what do I want to do there? Well, I've got some more functions that I want to run. I guess mainly this one, this job complete cycle thing. I'll just comment these out for now so I can uncomment them quickly, should I need to. This needs to become a library. I don't know if I like this, the way the buffers work here. I mean, the tabs. Okay, so this integration test is now going to be a library, and it's test only, and libraries don't have main functions. Good, good. How are these different? Okay, they both have the compilation window, but one is a smaller than the other. I don't know why it's taking so long after I added like one dependency. It has to rebuild Postgres. Why? That seems like a mistake. I shouldn't have done anything that requires Bazel to rebuild Postgres. Oh, you know what I did, because I changed the action environment. I sent a new environment variable, and so and so it has to recompile everything from scratch, I guess, is the way that it's reasoning. Okay, at any rate, we're going to, this thing, I think mostly is probably looking pretty good. I guess let's more aggressively delete this stuff. This is some to-do that I'm never going to get to. All right, so it's objecting to a ton of stuff. And it wants me to, oh, okay, so I did import qualify, which I forgot I had done. So I got to change all these. I probably need to add it to test article too, right? Job is probably also defined there. And then this is in SQL wget, which isn't even currently imported. Okay, now we're getting this error. I think it's just because the name of the file has to match the module name. Not in scope. So is it telling me I need to import the type that this thing is? I guess even if I'm not using it. I didn't realize that I thought the connection string was just a string. But it's telling me it's a Haskell type. Private settings. All right, so let's just first of all verify what the type here is. I don't think it should be a private type. Let's try Google. It's kind of surprising that the Haskell is the first hit. All right, so acquire is a thing that takes settings and returns either a connection error or a connection. And settings is what? Oh, okay, it's just down here. It's a byte string. So do I just need to import settings? Or a connection? Let's try just importing connection. And then I'll have to add it to the build file. Oh, you know what? It's because this is misnamed. And then these jobs also need to be prefixed, which is mildly annoying. And I guess it's probably complaining about the fact that I don't have overloaded strings. What? Why have I done that wrong twice now? All right, this is what I want. Okay, so I need overloaded strings, I think, if I'm going to use a string literal as a byte string. Okay, so the test ran. They do a bunch of unnecessary printing, which I think I added for debugging. Now I'm extremely displeased with this. So first of all, these are long lines. Where's my line lengths? Emacs? What have I done? So these are 151 characters. Some people don't believe in short lines, but I do. So I'm not sure the best way to break this up. And I don't have a Haskell formatter. Do I? I can try indent line. Load tidy core. What is tidy core? Okay. Well, let's just try breaking it up manually. Do people break it up there? Let's just ask the AI what it would do. Format this code so that lines are less than or equal to 80 characters. And follow Haskell coding best practices. So it breaks it up at the $, and then at the connection string with the yeah, let's assume that this is all correct and that it hasn't changed any of the meaning of my code. These are still 90. I guess I can live with that. All right, so that at least is better. Is it too fussy to do that? Can I do this? I don't like all the boilerplate. There must be better ways to clean this up, but I'm not going to optimize too much. At least all of the, you can tell what each thing is doing. You have to figure out what run with connection is. You can tell where the things are defined because we have this prefix. And that prefix, I think, will get more sensible once we rename that file. So I guess that all of that is okay. I should verify that tests pass if I change this environment variable. However, that's going to cause a complete recompile, and I want to avoid that. So maybe the next thing I'll do is get rid of the some of this extraneous printing. Do I want to get rid of the printing? Part of me does not want to. I guess I will. I'll print out the errors. You know what? I don't want to get rid of it because I just don't know enough about Haskell to know that I can recreate it quickly and remember what all the types are if I find myself in a bind and I need to debug. So while it's ugly, it's not the ugliest thing in the world. So I do seem to be able to make contact to the database. I have a bunch of these pending jobs. And maybe if I run it again, one of those jobs will be marked as completed. They're all marked as completed. Okay. I should clean up the database. Do I want to do that now? I should also initialize the database if I'm going to clean it up. I guess I'm not going to do that right now. That would involve, if I'm going to do that in Haskell, that would involve like porting all the migration stuff to Haskell, or alternately running scripts like Postgres scripts from the command line via the test suite, which I prefer not to do because that's not so. That's not always going to behave. If you're just running bash scripts, that's not always going to behave the same way every time. So all in all, this is slightly more cleaned up. Let's rename some stuff. I'll call this lector Postgres integration tests. Although I should have a file extension. Okay. I'm not even sure what's in SQL.hs. This is, oh, these should be, how are these different from the ones in SQL integration test? Get job proto. Am I importing SQL? No. Now what's going on here? So I have some ASON encoders. Oh, this was the file that I migrated all the stuff to their own module in Haskell. So I have to figure out if any of this is still useful. I don't think it is. So I'm going to just, I'm pretty sure this is wrong. Job proto statement, that's going to be wrong. ID statement. Okay. I I feel pretty good about that. And that makes this whole file useless to me, which means I can take this SQL integration test file and rename it sql.hs, like the phoenix that rose from the ashes. And we'll just rename the target as well. This entry can go away. SQL will no longer be test only. Oh, did I rename the wrong file? I think I did. That doesn't bother me. Wait, what? Yeah, okay. So I renamed SQL wget integration test instead of SQL integration test. That's fine because I'm going to merge these files now. Downcase region. Don't do that. Okay, so let's take SQL integration test, which was I originally was intending to move, and take anything that looks like we want it, like write job proto to database. Let's grab that. Get article data. I'm not sure that these are really that useful functions. Some of these might really be test functions, but I'll move them over. Write article data. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these really are just test functions. Update job status, I have 2 copies of. I think the other one is more important. I'm not even sure I need these test articles. I can take this job. I kind of like having it around because it reminds me of the syntax that I need. So maybe I'll make the job here. And I'll call it test job. No keyboard. Wait, what? What is what does this mean? Hello, I am SKS 27. All right, so hopefully this will be fine there. What keyboard am I using? I'm using the Kinesis ergonomic keyboard thing. Kinesis Freestyle, maybe? It's a little bit on the loud side. But it's not the loudest. Freestyle 2, I think it's called. It's not the loudest keyboard I have. All right, so there's probably some stuff that I have imported in one file, but not the other. Let's see if that fixed my issue. And it does not. It's because I copied some stuff over from one file that did not use qualified imports, and so I now need to qualify all these imports. I'm not sure what word is. I'm going to guess it's like data.word. That's Haskell. No module named Haskell is imported. Is it haskell.connection.connection? I think it may be. Yeah. Let's just do these all at once. Oops. Oh, I need to import insert job. What other things do I need to import? Does all of this stuff, I guess. Except they don't need this one twice. Let's try sorting these. Let's try sorting everything. Not that one. Yeah, I keep messing that up. Okay. Hey, stop that. And so I need to make sure that the appropriate, come on, work. There we go. That the appropriate things are added as dependencies. I must have duplicated some lines. Yeah, I duplicated a couple. Whoa. Some crazy bug just landed on my head. So I need to make sure that I'm importing some data. Was it data word? You asked about my keyboard. I've been having hand pain for a while, which is why you see me making so many mistakes as I'm typing things. It's getting slightly better, but it hasn't been fun. So I am importing data.word, but I guess I need to add something to the build file. Maybe? Or maybe I just need to rename the constructor. Oh, you know what? I didn't qualify it. Let's just try word 64. Data.word.word64. Yeah, so far this is maybe my biggest unhappiness with Haskell's overall design, which is the way that modules and module naming works. Because the experience with qualified is so bad and verbose that it kind of nudges people toward not qualifying their imports, which means that when you're looking at a general Haskell file, it's you can't tell where anything comes from. You can't tell where any of the things are defined, and so it's a bit perplexing. So I have to add these dependencies, which means that I'm going to have to. Why don't I just grab all of the dependencies here? And well, I don't want to do that, I guess, because I don't want to have unused dependencies, and I haven't figured out how to do that with Haskell. I think that GHC will maybe I can ask it to warn me about unused dependencies. Okay, not in scope session. This probably needs to be a Haskell session. Space for improvements on where? Do you mean the Haskell module system, or something I'm doing, or both? I think this is supposed to be a run session. Oh, session is defined here. I must have picked on the wrong thing. Let's try this again. Yeah, I need Haskell that session.run, not Haskell that session. By removing qualified from import qualified. Yes, that's right. And that's how I did it here. It's an unqualified import on the SQL integration test file. But I prefer, just for readability, I prefer to be able to know where things are defined, especially since I'm importing so much stuff. Release. Oh, I guess I need to call probably Haskell connection.release. Let's try one of these and see if it makes it happy. Yeah, okay. That may have been overzealous. In fact, that was overzealous. Let's try that again. Here, I don't know which one I want. I think I want text. Yeah, I agree. I just think that the I think the Haskell names are a little bit verbose. So they have this tree form where there's a lot of prefixes, and then the type is the main types are all often named after the module name. So you end up getting a lot of stuff like data.text.foo.foo.bar.bar, and it just seems like they didn't really the readability wasn't really a primary thought when the readability of like fully qualified names wasn't like top of mind when they were working out how naming works. I also think it's a little bit confusing to have the idea that like data, the next thing under data could be like a package really that does almost anything. And so I think I've talked about this before, but like, yeah, like data.word64. And so like the way that Java does packages is it's like reverse URL. So something created by Google would be like com.google, then something else. And with a packaging system like that, then the package prefix tells you something like who created the package. In the Haskell world, it's like if you have a package about networking, then it might go under network. And so the network dot whatever is a collection of packages that could be of like wildly varying quality or security. And that kind of makes it hard when you're reading an unfamiliar code base, because you don't know, you kind of know what the package is supposed to do semantically, but you don't know a lot of other things you would like to know about the code in that package. I find that like obscures data just in practice. But again, I'm coming to this as a non-Haskell person who's learning Haskell. So those concerns might go away as I become more familiar with it. And all in all, those are relatively mild concerns, I think, considering that the language is in general very enjoyable. I think I need both of these. I think I'm nearly here. Job proto. Oh, you know what? I did the wrong proto. So these, I think, can now be just called SQL. Is that right? Is there anything in SQL integration test? I guess my intention was that there wouldn't be. We have run with connection. Let's grab run with connection and just put it in here as a test file, as a test method. Is that what I want? No, I think maybe that I'm going to eventually want to use it in other things. This must be haskell.connection.require. I have to figure out where my test article is. Here, I'll just move this one. The same place as test job, which means I think that now I need to import the other protos. The other thing is, yeah, protos are a little bit awkward. Proto lens seems mostly pretty good, but it has this weirdness around just trying to work around Haskell's record syntax. Or record, I think the underlying issue is that like there's like a global record field namespace, which I think is a well-known issue with Haskell. And I need to enable type applications and probably also data kinds. I would like to know, like in general, I would like to have tooling that told me if I've enabled something that I don't need to enable. So I need to enable this ProtoLens field. Yeah, I need to enable data kinds. Don't really understand why. Again, something about ProtoLens. And it would be, what did I just do? At some point, I'll have tooling that will like automatically add imports if it's able to find them. I'm not sure how that will work. I don't know if that's something that like Haskell language server can do, but I think it has to interoperate with Bazel, since that's the build system I'm using. All right, I need def message. And really only def message. I don't need all this other stuff. And I need lens micro. Oh, you know what? I need lens micro, but I need dot tilde. And I think only dot tilde. No, I need and. I don't think I need this pointy nose thing. All right, I believe this will compile now. Okay. All right, great. It compiled, my test passed. I can get rid of SQL integration test altogether. And I can remove it from the build file. And I can, do I have Buildifier? Do I have Go? Okay, so I can install Buildifier. Which will let me at least like format my build file. And there's this unused depths thing, but I think it only works for Java. Yeah. So it's going to scan the manifest. It returns the index of the first new line and index of the byte following the new line. It's just going to read some jar manifest, I guess. And if you've imported something that is not in the manifest, then it will warn you. Is that really all it does? Where's everything else? Oh, that's some Go file. Yeah, it's just Go. Oh, there's unused depths.go. Okay. All right. So we have Buildifier, and then I need to somehow make sure it's in my path, which it's not. Do I have Go path? I think I just need to is that where Go is? And then Go bin is like, no. I need to add it to path, right? Export. Oh, I can just do this. Okay. So then I can add this hook to have Emacs run Buildifier when run Buildifier for Bazel files. Oh. And now will that work? I don't know. No such program Buildifier. Is that because Emacs is started without before I have Buildifier in my path? Let's try starting over Emacs. What? I think Emacs might be using a different path than Bash. Yeah. Can I make it match automatically? Is there any reason not to do this? I guess I'll try it. So let's examine the exec path variable, and then is Go here. Inappropriate ioctl. I guess it didn't like that. I guess that's what I get for copying things from the internet. So I can use this package. That's why you set your path in .profile. Okay, fine. I'll do that. Is that what I'm supposed to do? I'll do whatever you want me to do. Path gods. All right, so let's find. I guess go is going to go there too. Does it work? Does it work? It does not. Be sure to set the path in the systemd service script. Oi. Okay. Instead of doing any of this, I'm just going to manually set it there. And then I'll decide later whether it's worth the complexity of having a package try to synchronize my my stuff. So I'll just add, I don't know if I can use home. I think it's just go bin, right? You know, maybe my problem was that I think I'm not actually quitting Emacs. I think I'm using I'm connecting to a server. But I can't tell because I can't see what this function, this thing I'm actually executing is. Oh, it is there. Okay, fine. I think I just missed it. Okay, finally. So I'm able to run build a fire. Did that reorder stuff? Possibly. It looks a little bit better. And I guess I'm not going to commit my password, that's for sure. It's a super secret password. So this all looks fine. Deleted. This should be deleted. Pretty sure we don't need this at all. Test should be gone and replaced with this other thing. Lector Postgres integration tests. And then pubspec.lock is from some testing I was doing with Flutter. It is unrelated. So these changes should all be good. And so I'll make a commit. Well, first of all, was I in the middle of a commit before? No. Okay, so I'll call this migrate integration tests to tasty. And we'll push them to Garrett, and that will be good. All right, so does that actually improve our lives in any way? Probably not meaningfully. Oh, first of all, I forgot to include the new file. So that it's probably not a huge change, but at least it's somewhat cleaner. This gives me a better single place where everything is to modify tests, to add new tests. And so that's a moderate improvement. And I got experience with the Tasty framework, which is not nothing. And so now that everything is the hard parts of this thing for me have been that I wanted just an ecosystem or like a dev environment where I felt comfortable. I could move around relatively quickly and get stuff done. I feel like I finally have that now. I have a reasonable testing framework. It's wired up properly. If I need to add stuff, I can add stuff. And I have a good database layer. I'm pleased with Haskell, and that will necessarily need to be modified, etc., as I figure out what this app does. And I got gRPC to work on some much earlier videos, and hopefully it still works. But well, I guess that's the next thing that remains to be seen, and that provides me a way of communicating with other apps, other services. And so I'm really pleased that all of that stuff those are kind of the Lego pieces from which I can now branch out. And I feel like just to mix metaphors as much as possible, that I now have a solid foundation to begin building back-end services. The next thing I want to do for this, I think, is just to wire up some basic gRPC handlers, just to make sure that I can test gRPC communication, that the gRPC libraries aren't causing issues with compilation. Then after that, what I want to do is start just working away at some basic functionality for the Flutter front end, doing kind of the same stuff, making sure that if there's anything that might be complicated that I need, I want to get it set up enough where I'm not going to be like in the middle of developing some feature and then find out that I need to now like go and evaluate some like database library or some unit testing service. I have enough of I've done enough background work where I can kind of trust that the decisions I've made are reasonable going forward. And so probably the first thing there is to experiment with gRPC on Flutter. I want this bookmarking app to be able to read stuff to you, so I want to experiment with text to speech. And it's the web version is probably going to have to use gRPC web, so I'll have to make sure that I have that just up enough to test. I think that Flutter still doesn't support Bazel, or maybe vice versa. Bazel still doesn't support Flutter. So the Flutter build part of it is going to be a little bit awkward. But I think I can live with that. So I'll stop for now. I'll be back next week doing some sort of code reading. I don't know exactly the schedule for that, but also some more of these coding videos.